Yesterday's race 1 here at Donington Park for the R&G British Talent Cup saw your pole sitter in the number 52, Evan Belford, crowned the 2023 British Talent Cup champion. He took the whole shot as they barrelled into turn 1 with Emmanuel Brinton and Sullivan Mounsey, keeping themselves well within the mix. Brinton was making some big moves at McLean's on the number 43 with Philip Soroviak, put himself in the mix as well. It looked as if there was rain halfway through the race and Evan Belford wanted the race stopped, but that allowed Brinton and the number 55 of Harrison Desoy through. The number 75 of Philip Soroviak was making some big moves at Melbourne, 2-in-1 on the number 75. Then this happened. Big crash for the number 55 of Harrison Desoy. That took out Sullivan Mounsey. It was championship over for the number 4. This left Soroviak to battle it out with Brinton out the front, with Belford embroiled in a battle with Ronnie Harris as well. Julian Correa was putting himself in the mix as well as Harley McCabe. This big move came, and then unfortunately, last lap, Ronnie Harris went down. Emmanuel Brinton went down as well, and this left Philip Soroviak to take victory ahead of Julian Correa and Harley McCabe. With the championship decided then, it's all to play for here, as there's nothing to lose for any of these riders. They all want to take that final win of the season. This is the final race of the season in the R&G British Talent Cup. In 5th place in the grid is your 2023 champion, Evan Belford on the RS Racing machine. Running wet, and 4th place on the grid is Philip Soroviak. All of these riders will be on wet rubber for this one. Lucas Brown, 3rd on the grid. He had a very unlucky race yesterday, carving his way through the grid, and then a lot of bad luck came his way. The number 24 of Ryan Frost sits in 2nd place on the grid after yesterday's race, with Harley McCabe on pole position. So a very different grid to what we saw yesterday, and plenty to play for here as they all look for that final win of the season. Myself, Tristan Finocchiaro, will be bringing you this final race, and alongside me, Neil McKenzie. Neil, we saw such great action yesterday. Completely different story today, though.
Actions and incidents aplenty yesterday for sure. And Evan Belford in his post-race interview said obviously over the moon to win the R&G British Talent Cup Championship, but today is all set for him to go out with a victory, and he said he had to play things fairly carefully, and he did exactly that yesterday. He placed himself perfectly, not to get into trouble, get enough points, win the championship, but today it's all out for a win. But so are another dozen riders, and there's plenty of potential out there, all on the wet tyres, which show it's a relatively long race, but the track is damp, it's spitting the rain. I'm sure they will be okay. I know these Dunlop tyres will go the distance on the smaller bikes.
So we get the warm-up lap underway, then Lucas Brown hits the front. He's eager, so keep an eye on him as the lights go out later on.
Good thing to get stuck in the warm-up lap, maximise your track time and track temperature, get these tyres up to temperature. Much safer in these conditions. Track is damp, and as I said, it was drizzling.
Championship's over then. Evan Belford is your champion. Sullivan Mounsey still needs to defend 2nd place from Emmanuel Brinton, though. He's 50 points clear away from Belford, and Emmanuel Brinton 66 away in 3rd position. So whilst we have a champion crowned, the battle for 3rd is still very much still on. McCabe then is who's on pole position, back on the front row for the number 7 ahead of Ryan Frost, and Lucas Brown is going to be looking to make up for the misfortune of yesterday. Yesterday's race 1 winner is on row 2 ahead of your champion Belford and Ronnie Harris. Harrison Soy, keep an eye out for him. He'll be making some big moves from row 3. Correa as well on the podium yesterday, and Mounsey will be looking to carve his way through the pack. Brinton, McKay and Davidson are on row 4. All of those will be looking to carve their way through as well. Ollie Walker down on row 5 ahead of Charlie Huntingford and Ben Jolliffe. Row 6 went to Eli Banish ahead of Alexander Rowan, who had a big crash in qualifying, and Willis. George Bowes on row 7 ahead of Phil Penko and Josh Bannister. Clayton Edmonds down on row 8, struggling this weekend on the number 64 ahead of Daniel Goodman and Scott McPhee, sorry. Ash Barnes is down on row 8 on the number 28 ahead of King and Munson, with Jones and Luke Schofield rounding out the grid. Luke Schofield as well, another rider who has had a big crash this weekend, was going to race in yesterday's race, but then was actually lended leathers from Eli Banish, but the airbag wasn't charged, so he couldn't race.
Nightmare. Also, shout out to Luca Hopkins. He's not taking part this weekend in the SP machine. Funds not allowing him to do that, but Luca Hopkins, great little kid for the future, and unfortunately family some health issues at Knockhill this year, so he carried on, but he is missing this last round here at Donington. But he's in the paddock, and he's hoping that he can get back in action next year.
The final race of the season awaits the 2023 British Talent Cup grid. It is Harley McCabe who's on pole position for the final time this year. Ryan Frost now lines up on the grid, and we're moments away from the final race of the season. Lights come on then, and there's a pause. Lights off, and we're away here for the final race of 2023. 14 laps ahead of these riders. It's a good start for Ryan Frost, who takes the whole shot down into turn one. Philip Soroviak jumps Harley McCabe as well. Good start for the number 75, Harrison Desoy as well, now up into third. So McCabe's dropped back off of pole position. Ronnie Harris is looking menacing as well.
Lovely launch for the number 24 off the middle of the grid there, not defensive into turn one. Nice sweeping line, because he was confident that he could see in his peripheral that he really had left the others on the grid, so he can take the normal fastest racing line. These guys all a bit tentative, but as we've seen so far this weekend, amazing grip on a damp surface, on the new surface here at Donington Park, and these guys will feel that as the race goes on, getting things up to temperature. But yeah, it really has been some close racing, even though the conditions has been quite sketchy at times.
Lucas Brown's lost a lot of time he was starting from the front row, and he's dropped right back through the pack, so keep an eye out for Lucas Brown, a rider who has looked strong in wet conditions in the past, and you'll expect to be getting his elbows out in this race. Emmanuel Brinton, though, is just slotted ahead of him. He's sat just behind Harley McCabe on the number 7. That was your pole man, who's all the way down out of the top 5 now.
Absolute freight train heading down there. 2 Foggy S's for the first time.
Desoy it is that takes the lead then. Oh, a little bit of a moment on the rear end there for Ryan Frost on the exit of the Foggy S's. A little bit of a twitch on the rear as he was getting the power down. Now Julian Correa having a little look up the inside, capitalising on that moment.
Microlise 1-2 at the moment as they come to the end of this first lap.
Good little team that Microlise squad.
Great, yeah, John Cresswell looking after the youngsters for a lot of years. Probably the most famous in recent years was Casey O'Gorman winning the British Talent Cup.
Desoy then just 18 years old from Basildon in Essex on that Microlise Cresswell machine. Ronnie Harris up into P3. He's looking menacing on the number 66. He had a really, really good race yesterday, was battling for the podium positions, then unfortunately crashed out on the final lap, so he's going to be looking to try and pick up that first podium in this final race of the season, and that'll put him in great stead ahead of the 2024 Talent Cup season. Desoy it is that leads, then Ronnie Harris are having a little look up the inside of Julian Correa at the old hairpin. No way through this time around, but there's no hurry for the number 66. Ryan Frost losing a lot of time now, and he's got Emmanuel Brinton to contend with. Belford's dropped right down through the order in the background there.
Yeah, wow, 11th on that, on the end of that first lap, and yeah, Evan Belford, championship winner, is no slouch in the wet, so maybe just got a bit boxed in on that first lap. He has got a clear track in front of him. 11th at the moment.
He said he'd be getting his elbows out in this race with the title decided. We're yet to see it, but still plenty of time left to go in this race.
Yeah, you can see him in the background, number 52, heading down the hill, just behind Walker, closing in, Foggy S's.
Just ahead of him, Ollie Walker, Lucas Brown there on the number 29, as well as Sullivan Mounsey. We know how strong Sullivan Mounsey is in the wet. He took victory back at Brands Hatch, at a very, very wet Brands Hatch. But he's coming under threat here from Soroviak, who bounces straight back at him.
Yeah, in dry conditions, you can pretty much take your line, pick your bike up, change your line mid-corner, do whatever you want. But things, you have to be a little bit more careful when conditions are damp like this. Guys keeping things smooth, just getting up to full working temperature now at the end of the second lap. These guys feeling their way around here. Yeah, Mounsey as well. We're so used to seeing him and Evan Belford right at the front, but they have got some work on.
Ronnie Harris then leads the way, and he has the fastest lap of the race, rookie in the category this year. Turned 16 last Tuesday from Middle Barton in West Oxfordshire. It's his first full season in British Talent Cup this year. Did do 2 rounds last year at Snetterton at Donington. Also helps out a lot of the young riders over at the Fab Racing Mini Bike Championships as well, after coming through the ranks, up through the ranks there.
Looking good, looking smooth, lovely riding style. Is he a Tom Sykes fan, number 66?
We'll have to ask him. He's looking very, very strong and comfortable out the front now. He's stretching the field. He has the fastest lap of the race, and he was a second quicker than anyone else on that last lap.
Yeah, he's got great field going on. Teams will make some adjustments, not any standing water, so I'm sure they're sucking the suspension up a little bit just to generate a little bit more heat, make things a little bit more, be a little bit more plush, a little bit more pliable, but not make things too soft that will get too much heat into the tyres, especially as conditions might just dry out. The rain has gone off at this point, but yeah, certainly Harris at the front there, bike just working perfectly.
Lucas Brown there just pushing his way through on Dan Goodman, and then Dan Goodman bouncing straight back, number 71. That's a really, really good ride for him so far on the Vision Track machine, and he blasts past Ryan Frost on the exit as well.
Yeah, he's made good progress this year. He's had a few offs, few incidents, few point scoring results, but Dan Goodman, very enthusiastic dad. You'll never miss him on the pit wall on a weekend, but yeah, he's doing a great job on the Vision Track bike.
Best results this season as well has been 14th, so this is very much his best ride of the season so far.
And yeah, another scalp as he heads on to the next lap for Goodman.
He's got some pace here, it'll be worth keeping an eye on Goodman's lap time.
Yeah, he just passed yesterday's winner, so no mean feat at all.
49.8, so he's one of the fastest within that little group. Mounsey very fast as well.
Belford, a close one there.
Just missed that one. Ryan Frost trying to defend that position from Lucas Brown, Evan Belford and Ollie Walker, all riders who are not shy of making a move, as we've seen in the past.
Yeah, it's quite difficult to get your head around just how much grip there is out here. I'd say alongside Silverstone now, this track has the most grip out of all the tracks in the UK in the wet conditions, but sometimes you just can't get your head around how fast you can go, how late you can brake, how much corner speed you can carry, because the difference in grip at different racetracks. The previous surface here at Donington, no way you could go as quick as this. It was quite changeable all the way around. Grip was limited in these conditions, but now all of these problems have gone.
Harris is properly checking out the front now. He's gone, but now we have this battle for second place. Desoy's defending that from Emmanuel Brinton. Julian Correa and Mounsey's caught these lot as well. It looks as if Dan Goodman's on the move as well, so he might very well be joining this battle, especially if they start swapping and changing positions.
This bunch here must be thinking, how can Ronnie Harris be going so fast and disappearing? We're all podium finishers, race winners, and Ronnie Harris is just disappearing. He's still setting fastest sectors on this lap, and I'm sure he'll have another fastest lap.
Untouchable there. Was that an issue there for Brinton? I think maybe just trying to get a little bit of tape off the radiator.
Yeah. Well, yeah, in cooler conditions, the radiators will be taped up, but they have a bit of lock wire that is basically taped onto your fairing, so if you're watching the temperature and it's getting too high, they'll know when the temperature's too high. You can pull that off, and it basically pulls a strip of tape off the radiator. I guess that was happening there. Another fastest lap for Ronnie Harris, and he's now 5.4 seconds up the road. He needs to be watching his pit board, so he really can control this. He doesn't need to keep pushing, and really has got it in the bag. And these guys passing each other, holding each other up, and on that last lap they were 3 seconds slower than Ronnie Harris.
Emmanuel Brinton keeping himself in contention here for this second position. Rider who spent a lot of time racing out in Spain. His family moved to Spain for racing, learning all the British circuits this year. Pretty much hasn't been to a lot of them and is learning them throughout the weekend. Donington will be one he's seen before, and he's making it.
Another pass for Dan Goodman, another place. He's on for a podium today.
Dan Goodman is on an absolute charge. Best result before this weekend, 14, but he's carving his way through this group now. Mounsey's fully in the mix as well, so expect him to be pulling some moves. It could go anyway between these lot. Soroviak's on them as well.
I think Dan Goodman has been told the track is dry. Just treat it as a dry track. He's been nowhere near the podium. He's been making great progress, but he's not been in podium contention all season. And he's one spot off the podium as we speak. Emmanuel Brinton just in front of him, and he has won multiple races this year.
Probably better that way. Oh, Soroviak up the inside. Nice move there from the 75. As Mounsey hits the front of this group, is he going to be able to break this lot? We know he's got pace in the wet weather conditions.
Such a shame this is the last race of the season for these guys, because Dan Goodman now, I mean, he's going to finish the season on an absolute high. He's just surrounded by Talent Cup race winners at the moment, and now he realises he can go as fast as any of them.
Oh, that's a rider down and out. That's unfortunate. And that's Jones that unfortunately has gone down and out.
Ewan Jones.
So let's see how that happened. Oh, that's nasty.
Huge high side. Got that all wrong. Just a little bit too much throttle on the side of the tyre. Maybe back in extra gear, who knows? But yeah, that is definitely. If you looked up high side in the dictionary, that's the picture you would see.
Not the way you want to end your season.
Sullivan Mounsey making a break for it here. He's just 2 seconds off Ronnie Harris on that last lap, which is maybe not enough to catch him. Number 65 has entered the pits. That's Alexander Rowan on the Mortimer Racing, Alexander Rowan Racing machine.
He's had a very, very difficult weekend. Crashed at the Foggy S's in qualifying as well. Did Alexander Rowan. Mounsey out of track bounds and lost a lot of time there.
He certainly did, because he had a tidy gap there, and he's actually making a little bit of inroads into Ronnie Harris, but that's definitely gone out the window now. 7.9 seconds Ronnie Harris has on Sullivan Mounsey.
Brave move there from Soroviak. Lost a lot of time because of it though, and that's allowed Mounsey to break away once again. What can Soroviak do about the number 4? Harrison DeSoy has a little look up the inside of Dan Goodman. Brinton's been pushed back through the pack now, and he's coming under the clutches of the number 52, Evan Belford. Keeping out for Correa as well. He did similar to this in yesterday's race, sort of kept towards the back of the group, but then at the end, he was right up there for podium contention.
And we're only at half race distance.
A lap's ticking away here.
8 seconds the gap at the front. Pretty much unheard of in British Talent Cup. Maybe a few occasions last year, Johnny Garness really checked out and put some time into the others, but we haven't seen these kind of gaps this year.
Yeah, that last lap for Harris, 47.1. The closest any of the top guys have gotten to him is a 48.2, and that's Belford down in 7th. Mounsey's only running 49.2s on that last lap.
He needs the slowing down signal from his pit crew next lap, around 10 seconds.
Yeah, if you were on the pit board, you'd be a bit worried about all this pace that he's finding.
Yeah, because he's lapping 2 seconds a lap faster than anyone, and which is fantastic, and it's impressive, and it's amazing. But I just want him to get home in one piece. Dan Goodman on the podium here.
This is looking like a very, very good ride for Goodman. Yeah, he's put himself in podium contention. Will he be able to do anything about Sullivan Mounsey? A lot easier to chase it down than it is to lead. Yeah,
well, the thing is, he's doing it so easily. He doesn't look like he's overriding his machine. He really is. Yeah, he's one of the bigger lads, so he has to adjust himself on the back straight there for maximum aerodynamics. But yeah, later on the brakes, staying with Mounsey, even catching him a little bit. Yeah, and he's just been doing it so easily. He's just been cruising around, not out of shape, not doing anything. His lines are fantastic. He really has found the best form of his career, and he's looking at second now. Surely not.
Look up the inside. Mounsey makes sure there's no way through though.
He was a little bit tight there. You have to be so careful, but he did the right thing. Just slowed that machine up, kept it upright, a little bit extra braking, nice and safely through the hairpin. Evan Belford back in the game, number 52.
Very much so.
Yeah, 5th position now, so he has made good progress. So best case here, I would say, for Evan is a 2nd place, unless anything happens to Ronnie Harris at the front. But yeah, well, for all of these guys, 2nd is still very much on the card.
You can see on camera now, the rain is coming down even heavier than it was before.
We had a little bit of respite with the rain, but now it's back with a vengeance. So it really is who's...
Oh, that's tight through there.
Through Hollywood, because that is... yeah, that gap closes, as you can see, to get to the apex of the right trainer and then through the left. So you've really got to stop pushing or it won't end well.
So as the rain's coming down, Evan Belford is finding an extra gear here. He pushed his way past Soroviak down through Craners for a lovely brave move from your 2023 champion. And what's he going to be able to do about Goodman and Mounsey in front of him? He's all over the rear wheel of Goodman now.
Well, I think Evan, just want to prove a point. Wet or dry, certainly worked hard. He's got a happy visor on. See that yellow visor of the number 52? It makes everything nice and bright. I think it's a nice sunny day, which psychologically makes you smile, makes you a bit happier, as opposed to a dark visor on, which makes you a little bit depressed. So I'd like to see Riley with a happy visor.
Is that the secret to his sudden speed?
Look at that,
2 in 1 on the brakes at Foggy S's.
Because he's so happy.
The happy visor's doing its job. Now, let's see if he can happily pull away from this group.
Certainly getting wetter, so your riding style has to adjust to that. You just have to be
Brinton, that's a
careful.
big lunge there.
Oh, there was touch, there was contact there for Dan Goodman, and normally that doesn't end well, but he's got out of that one safely, thankfully. This will fire up Sullivan Mounsey, number 4, because he certainly believes he's got the skills and he's got the talent to equal this year's R&G British Talent Cup winner, Evan Belford, away at the front. This time, lap times, 47.4 for Ronnie Harris, 48.2 for Evan Belford. So he's still losing time, 13 seconds as a gap at the front.
Harris in an absolute world of his own at the front as he's going through Old Hairpin. They haven't even reached Hollywood yet. Belford and Mounsey locked together. How many times have we said that this season? Mounsey's having a little look at the Old Hairpin. He makes that one stick, nicely done.
Loves a race. Well, both of these guys do.
They've seen a lot of each other this season as well. As well as Emmanuel Brinton, who's losing a bit of time here as the rain's coming down harder and harder. It looks as if it's going to be between these two for the final 2 podium spots. Brinton's got his hands full with the likes of Soroviak, Goodman and Correa for 4th though. The rain's really coming down heavily now.
Well, still a few laps to go though.
Still plenty of life left in this race yet.
Very much so. Ronnie Harris, he fitted the CRF 450 motocross engine to this mission because he's just still disappearing. Incredible.
Mounted a rocket ship onto that Honda NSF 250.
Skills.
Incredible stuff from Ronnie Harris. He's absolutely flown away out the front. 14 seconds it is now. Correa has a look up the inside of Brinton. No way through this time round. Goodman holding strong in 4th.
Yeah, still an amazing result. A great way to end the season. Just if the race stopped now, he's had a brilliant end, and whatever he does next year, he'll start with massive confidence, knowing that he can race with all of these race winners and all of these fast guys.
Shout out as well to the number 88, Pilpenko, who's just made his way up into 10th place ahead of Ryan Frost. Good ride for the Polish rider. From 20th on the grids, climbed his way up to 10th. These guys out the front though. This battle here for 4th is really hotting up. Mounsey and Brinton, Mounsey and Belford, sorry. This battle for 2nd place. Belford does like to follow, doesn't he? And we've seen time and time again, Mounsey likes to lead.
Yeah, they've got different strategies and different skills. I think Emmanuel Brinton, Evan Belford and Sullivan Mounsey, they just ride the races in different ways, and they're all equally as effective. Certainly all races at the end of the day, we know that. Just thinking for Ronnie Harris at the front here, it'll be the longest race of his life. He's in a great rhythm, he's rattling off great lap times. He's still faster than anyone else, only by a small margin, but he's very comfortable. He's got things under control, and yeah, he's just be enjoying his final race here.
Now you'll see on his pit board that he does have a almost 15 second lead at the front.
I'm sure if he says a 1 and a 4, he'll think it's 1.4 seconds, not 14 seconds. I'm sure he didn't wake up this morning thinking he was going to win this race by that kind of margin.
I don't think any of the grid did.
No.
But he's reeled off the pace ever so slightly down to 48, so he's about a second and a half slower of it than his best. So he is slowing up and controlling this race at the front.
Yeah,
which
really,
is what you want to see.
And we really have proper wet conditions now. There's no standing water, but there's a lot of rain in the track. You can see just from the spray from the front and the rear. Yeah, wheels.
Difficult this when it's already wet, but the rain is really starting to come down. Yeah. The grip's getting a little bit less and less, and you're trying to manage it.
Well, you have to be careful of 2 things in particular: the white paint, as that becomes more slicker than tarmac, and also if there is any standing water or water gathering anywhere in the braking areas, you might go into a braking area braking hard with no standing water and then go through a puddle, and then that will of course aquaplane lock the front rail, so you just have to watch as track conditions evolve.
Brinton's been trying all he can to get through on Harris and Desoy.
Lap times haven't slowed down that much. Fastest lap of the race to Harris was 1:47.1, and at the moment the guy's still lapping in the 48s, so
bit of a rear end moment there through star keys for Brinton. You could see the standing water that's in there, but it's just a testament to how grippy this circuit is. These lap times staying pretty much the same.
Yeah, and for the taller riders, sometimes a little bit of an advantage because you can get that knee down. They'll all fit wet knee sliders, which are double thickness, so you can get your knee down a little bit easier. But for the taller riders with longer legs, then that can also be an advantage.
Ollie Walker now having a little look up the inside of Brinton. Harrison Desoy goes straight on at the foggy TSs. He's going to need to make sure he's losing at least a second through that sector. It doesn't. Yeah, I think he possibly will be doing.
Yeah, he's lost more than a second, but he's keeping it safe. Not sure what happened there. He didn't look like he was in particularly hot. And Ronnie Harris catching some lap riders now. Not unexpected.
Better of it. There's the number 5 that he's coming up to. That's Luke Schofield. Absolutely in a world of his own out the front is Ronnie Harris. He'll make his way through on the 16-year-old.
No need to take any risky manoeuvres. Safely through at the old hairpin. Look at the tiny contact patch these tyres have got, especially when they're carrying some lean angle. It's just amazing the grip that is out there.
Ronnie Harris flying his way out the front. It's been untouchable all race long. He just looks so comfortable as well.
Yes, yeah. Hasn't had a moment, certainly when he's been on screen. Just looks great riding style, very confident. Got a kind of semi-smoked visor on, so it's not a happy visor, but it's doing its job. Lovely riding style, very smooth. That bike just working perfectly. Hand up for the number 5 there.
Is that an issue for Luke Schofield?
I think maybe, as is normal in British Talent Cup, he thought there was a gang of 10 riders coming past when they knew. Obviously that was the leader. You see the blue flags, the leader came past, you'd be expecting another dozen, but not today.
Yeah, not what you expect at all, is it? And there's a rider that's gone down. I think that's Ben Jolliffe on the number 42 that's down and out of the race. Yeah, it is. So really unfortunate for Ben.
Yeah. Airbag's gone off. Suit doing its job.
Not the way you want to end your season at all. These guys still, Mounsey and Belford still pretty much...
Yeah, still together, but Belford would want to be closer. A couple of laps to go when they cross the line.
It's not over yet, but Harris has got a firm hold of it out the front. Will Belford be able to do anything about Sullivan Mounsey? Mounsey taking it right out to the paintwork on the exit there. Yeah. Goodman still holding strong in 4th ahead of Soroviak and Julian Correa.
Evan Belford 0.3 of a second slower on that lap to Sullivan Mounsey, so he didn't get any closer.
Desoy now making the move on Brinton. These two have been swapping and changing positions. Ducks underneath him on the brakes, but then Brinton bites straight back. Never shy of a move is Emmanuel Brinton. Neither is Harrison Desoy, in all fairness.
No. Yeah, I can't really predict which way this one will go. I think there'll be a few passes before the end of the race. They've got a lap and a half to go.
They've already changed possessions 3 times. They've only done 3 corners. The gap at the front's coming down ever so slightly, but that's just Ronnie Harris just reeling off the pace ever so slightly and keeping bringing it home.
Yeah, for sure. You can pretty much cruise home.
Harris then 10.9 seconds it is. It was up to almost 15 at one point, but he's controlling it very well at the front. Expected a little bit more of Lucas Brown in the wet. Oh, that's number 61 of Harrison McKay who's coming into the pits. So some technical gremlins for the 61, which can happen in the wet.
Must mention also that Evan Belford will have another award presented to him, the Dave Simmons Trophy. Dave Simmons, very famous Brit back in the day, won Kawasaki's first ever World Championship, the 125 World Championship in 1969, and as years gone by, the Dave Simmons Trophy will be awarded to the winner. So Jenny, daughter, works in the paddock, has done for many years for various teams, so is very proud to make sure that that very special trophy goes to a special young rider.
It's Michael Wilcox this year that's presenting that trophy to Evan Belford. He was a 125cc British champion in 2003, 20 years ago, so a fitting rider to be handing over that trophy.
Yeah, very much so. Dave Simmons went on to ride 500 Kawasaki. Unfortunately, lost his life in 1972, but yeah.
Trying to rescue a friend from a caravan.
Yeah, not a racing incident at all, in a racing paddock, and yeah, very sad, but very interesting history, a fantastic career, and absolute ambassador for Kawasaki and bringing them to the fore back in the day, and yeah, very, very proud to have a Brit who did that, and great to have Jenny still in the paddock.
We had a new race victor yesterday in Filip Sorowiak, and it's looking like we're going to have a new race victor today in Ronnie Harris. It'll be his first podium and his first victory on the number 66 rookie in the category this year. And all he has is the final sector of this Donington Park circuit before he takes victory. His first victory, 25 points will go the way of the number 66. And he's showing what he's made of ahead of the 2024 season with this statement victory if he holds it to the line. Just one more corner remaining for the 66. Through Goddard's he goes. Maybe looking to use this as a platform for next year to come back stronger. Will he be a championship threat next year? Ronnie Harris takes victory in the R&G British Talent Cup by some considerable margin. Incredible stuff from Ronnie Harris. Sullivan Mounsey takes second place. Evan Belford didn't have enough for Mounsey at the end there and takes third. Dan Goodman, a brilliant fourth position for him. He's delighted with that one, and so he should be. Filip Sorowiak finishes a good weekend for him. Took the victory yesterday and took P5 today. Correa in sixth. Ollie Walker took seventh ahead of Harrison Desoy. Brinton's just crossed the line in ninth as well, with Pilpenko taking 10th place. That's the best result of the season for the number 88. He's happy with that one as well, so a good day for the Microlise Cresswell team as well. But Ronnie Harris, what can you say about him in this race? Did not put a foot wrong.
So impressive. Pretty much came from nowhere, worked his way through, just picking him off. And then his pace when he got to the front. No one could look at him. As I said earlier, I'm sure they were thinking, how the heck is he doing that? He's just disappearing, but absolutely on rails. Bike working beautifully. Rider just at one, lovely riding style. Riding so nice, no threat at all, and I bet you can't believe just how easy that was. Never seen, very, very rarely in the British Talent Cup. So amazing.
Mounsey, a brilliant second place for him, and what a season he's had, trying a little burnout on his little Honda machine. Well, he's not going to be using those tyres again, is he?
No. And yeah, he's been a great character in the British Talent Cup this year. Love his interviews, great character. Huge talent, won lots of races, kept the championship alive till yesterday. Unfortunately went down, wasn't his fault, but yeah, he's been great for the championship, and yeah, I'm sure you go on to great things. Another rider, I think, trying out at the selection event for MotoGP Red Bull Rookies Cup, so yeah, great things ahead for these guys.
Best of luck to Sullivan Mounsey, age 16, originally from London, but living Maids Morton, Buckinghamshire, just 7 miles from Silverstone Circuit. There is your race 2 result then, the first ever victory for Ronnie Harris. He was 6.5 seconds clear of Sullivan Mounsey. By the end of it, had a 15-second lead at one point. Evan Belford takes third, your 2023 champion. Really good result for Dan Goodman. Filip Sorowiak in fifth. Correa, Walker, Desoy, Brinton and Pilpenko with a brilliant top 10. Peter Willis managed to make his way up to 13th place, just ahead of Eli Banish. Charlie Huntingford took the final point in the final race of the season, ahead of Scott McPhee, George Bowes, Tyler King, Clayton Edmonds up into P19, and Josh Bannister rounding out your top 20. Here it is then. After 18 races, the championship is over, and Evan Belford is your champion. Sullivan Mounsey brought home second place ahead of Emmanuel Brinton. Ali McCabe consolidated P4. Correa fifth in the championship. Lucas Brown's had a really good season this year, 6th place. He'll be back for more next year. Ollie Walker, Ryan Frost, Harrison Desoy, Filip Sorowiak round out your top 10. Plenty of names in this championship who'll be looking to go on to do great things next season for 2024. Harrison McKay, 13th in the championship, ahead of Alexander Rowan. Alfie Davidson, a really difficult season for him. Injury and all sorts of bad luck, but he rounds out the top 15 in the championship. Manuel Brinton, then another podium. No, Brinton wasn't on the podium, sorry, but he's in Parc Ferme. Harris it was that took victory. Incredible stuff from him. First victory, always great to see a rookie in the category picking up their first victory. Brinton in Parc Ferme is in top 3 in the championship. There's your champion though, 2023 R&G British Talent Cup champion, and he's picked up 3rd place in the wet as well. So we've got the race winner down in Parc Ferme with Shaky.
Ronnie, what a result that was. You rode away from everybody.
Yeah, I was just, I'm a bit lost for words, but this morning I went out, I got a good toe in the wet, and I was first this morning. I knew I had the pace, and once I got out front, I found a rhythm, and I just kept building and building until I saw I had 14 seconds on my pit board. Then I did start to relax then, but so happy with that.
How were the conditions? Because it looks like there's a lot of standing water out there. It looked really, really treacherous, but you made it look easy.
Well, it wasn't too bad at the start. It was just a little bit wet on the surface, but it started raining halfway through, and it was a lot of standing water. I could feel it trying to aquaplane down Cranes. It was pretty difficult towards the end.
Incredible bike control. Well done on your first win.
Thank you.
Victory for the rookie then, a statement victory for Ronnie Harris. What will he be able to bring to the table next year for 2024? Assuming he's staying in this, it was his rookie season, so I'm assuming we'll see him next year.
Yeah, he's certainly going into the off-season on a high. And yeah, what a lovely lad, told it as it was. Got that little bit of confidence in the morning warm-up, and sometimes that's just what it takes. And he recognised the conditions when he was out there. He knew he had the pace, and he was confident. I loved the way he said, I got to 14 seconds in and I backed off, as you do.
Oh, fair enough. 14 seconds is enough.
That'll do
He
me.
gets the job done.
Yeah, I would have been backing off about 3.5 seconds. But yeah, fair play. He had that rhythm, had that confidence, and he just took it to them. Fantastic.
Brilliant result for Ronnie. Really happy for him. He's had a really good weekend all around as well. Was in podium contention yesterday. It was unfortunate he crashed out, but he's made up for it today. We wait to get these guys out on the podium, the final podium of the year for the British Talent Cup. And it's been an incredible season, Neil. Gone right down to the wire as well.
Yeah, as it has all the everything well balanced for the riders, weights and sizes and things, and yeah, just brilliant. We've just thrown up some great riders, and it really is producing some big talents. Now Casey O'Gorman yesterday, first time ever in the Supersport Championship, finished 3rd on the podium. Casey O'Gorman, British Talent Cup winner a few years ago. He's still only 16 and doing that in the British Supersport Championship. So he's riding all kinds of machines. Johnny Garness unfortunately had some injuries early in the year. We hope that he'll be back in the paddock next year. Another amazing talent, big name for the future. And now we've got Evan Belford. And Evan Belford, his progress was just halted a bit with injury last year, but he's bounced back from that. That's all part of racing. Bounced back with a win and bounced back the year after in the championship.
There is your champion, taking the 3rd place spot on the final rostrum of the season. A well-deserved champion this season. Fought for it in 2020, fought for it in 2021, and now he's got it done in 2023 as well. Mounsey, 2nd place. Good result for him. He'll be disappointed not to take the title. Well, not at the very least, let it go down to the wire. But what a result. RS Racing have done it again. They found another quick lad in Ronnie Harris. Was very quick on 50cc and 70cc machinery in Fab Racing, and is proving he can do it on the big circuits as well. A sign of things to come for Ronnie Harris. The likes of Mounsey and Belford now will be taking a little look at the likes of the European Talent Cup. Johnny Garness, last year's champion, watches on.
Yeah, great to see Johnny here.
Shame that he couldn't race full-time this season.
Yeah, he started the season good. He was strong at Silverstone, then unfortunately had that crash overseas. But yeah, good to see he's supporting his fellow riders, and we can't wait to see him back on a bike.
The stars of the future then, we've just witnessed here in the British Talent Cup. Plenty of names that you need to be keeping your eye out for the future. Ronnie Harris is definitely one of them. They have their pictures taken for the final time this season. Belford and Mounsey very much used to being up there, but very much a new experience for Ronnie Harris. Does make you think as well if how different the championship picture would have been if last year's champion was in the mix this season.
Yeah, and he would have been very much in the mix. He already was beginning the season, and he had the big season ahead of him, the European Talent Cup as well, and that's all ground to halt. But he's still young, he's still got plenty of time, and the age limit of things going up to 18 for a Moto3 World Championship, it gives these riders a couple more extra years just to develop the skills and get up to speed. So yeah, it would have been great to have Johnny in there for another year, but this time last year he was the champion. He actually sat in the commentary box, and I was certainly scared for my job because he was much better at commentating than me, and he's a real so he's got talents in all kinds of areas. So but it's just great to see him in the paddock and with a smile on his face.
Natural talent on and off the bike then, Johnny Garness. But here is your 2023 RNG British Talent Cup champion, Evan Belford. It's been a long time coming for the number 52, and this is a moment that he'll cherish forever. A name to remember. Emmanuel Brinton as well. We'll see what he can do next season as well. It was his rookie year in BTC this year, although he does have plenty of experience on the bike over in European Talent Cup. It's a very, very different ball game. Sullivan Mounsey, second place in the championship. He's awarded that from Alex Baldolini. Alex doing a lot of work with those guys. There's Eddie O'Shea watching on. Of course, Eddie O'Shea, a rider who's come up through the British Talent Cup, and now he's doing very, very well over at the Junior World stage at the Junior GP. He'll be back in action next weekend at Aragon. But there it is then, your champion lifts the title. What a season it's been for Evan Belford. Ryan Saxelby just has a way of just picking these riders and finding the talent and really honing their craft. And the Dave Simmons Trophy as well goes to Evan Belford. Here's how the final race of the season went down then in the RNG British Talent Cup at Donington Park. It was Ryan Frost who took the whole shot down into turn one, snatched it away from the pole sitter Harley McCabe. The number 75 of Philip Soroviak was looking very, very racy on lap one as well. Harrison Desoy hit the front early on, snatched it from the number 24 of Frost, but then number 66, Ronnie Harris, he made this move at Melbourne Loop, and then that was game, set and match. He was gone out the front and no one could match his pace. This left the likes of Desoy, Brinton, Mounsey, Correa, Dan Goodman as well to fight it out for the final rostrum positions. Dan Goodman having carved his way through the grid. A very good ride for him, his previous best result being P14. Mounsey was making some big moves on the number 4, as he always does. And there was action aplenty as Jones on the number 11 unfortunately went down and out. Ben Jolliffe also crashed out. The rain conditions proving very tricky for these riders. And then it was Ronnie Harris who cruised home to a safe victory ahead of Sullivan Mounsey and Evan Belford.